Welcome back, tribe. Let's jump in. This one is, woman decided to try open marriage for 12 months.
Our next guest is a woman who was married when she decided she needed to sow her wild oats. Robin Rinaldi had been married 9 years when she asked her husband to consider an open marriage. He agreed, and they spent the next 12 months having sex with other people. Robin has written about the experience in The Wild Oats Project, and she's with me now. Robin, hi.
Hi.
All right, so unlike our other guests, you didn't start off in an open relationship.
That's right.
So how'd you spring that one on your husband?
Well, much to the word of our good doctor here, we did it the wrong way. We did it at a crisis point in our marriage, and also at my midlife crisis point. So it was kind of like a perfect storm.
Perfect storm, right. So look who initiated the open marriage. The woman in her midlife crisis. Boredom, just like we were talking about in the previous episode.
We had been talking about having children for several years, and he decided no.
Yep.
And then I was 42. I'm thinking I have no children.
I want to cheat. Let me open up my marriage. I don't want to be an unmarried woman. I like what he's providing me. I don't want to give all that stuff up. Instead, I'll just sleep with other men and try to convince him of the same.
I'm not going to have them. I've only had a couple of lovers because we had been together 20 years.
You met him when you were 25.
Yeah. And I thought, I can't go to my grave like this. I need something, you know. And he was pretty open-minded, and he actually decided to get a vasectomy. And I think this was kind of his compromise with me to let me have a little bit of time to process that and do a little bit of my sowing of my wild oats.
Prior to that moment, did you believe, I am deeply in love with this man, we are connected, was your sex life good, if you don't mind me asking?
It was, and I was in love with him. Of course, we were together 18 years, and
Very careful, listen, it was. So she has a better sex life now. Of course, she's got some strange that's probably outperformed her husband, and she was in love with him. Now it's just a joint partnership. There's no more love, and it's not a marriage anymore. Just two people that are content with one another.
Anyone will tell you after 18 years, it's not rainbows and roses all the time.
See?
Yeah.
And we had our issues, but I would say we had a pretty decent marriage, but we were very hung up on this kid issue, and
Yeah.
I was kind of starting that perimenopausal crazy midlife ride.
Right.
I think the ladies in here probably know.
No, I don't know. Asking for a friend what that's about. So you decide to move, not to move out, but to get your own apartment, and you stayed there when?
It was more like a...
Yeah, that's the kid thing will seed resentment in your woman like no other, dude. If you get with a woman and you don't want to have kids and she does, just know that it's like 100% almost. Your relationship is headed to a failure. You can't do that. It's even proven in studies what happens. Like, women actually lose attraction if they're with a man long enough and they don't get pregnant. It's almost like nature's telling her that there's something wrong with the man's seed. It's not working for reproduction. I remember reading a study like that, and they begin to lose attraction if they don't get pregnant by the man they're with within a certain amount of time. It's like Mother Nature has a stopgap built in for them to leave. Like, hey, something's wrong here. We're not reproducing. Leave. It's nuts, dude. Now throw in the fact that she deeply wanted kids and this guy's putting it off. Like, this is where the relationship was headed anyway. I wonder what his side of the story is. I wonder if he, secretly would have liked this to happen in the first place. My man's got a vasectomy and now he's on the market too.
Room, but I would be there during the week, and then we'd be together on weekends. And during the week, we were both allowed to date and basically see other people. And then on the weekends, we didn't want to break up. See, we were trying to bend and not break.
Yeah.
We were trying this instead of...
Again, it's not we were trying. You forced it on your husband, and he probably buckled because, he didn't give you kids. And he was like, well, she's got me there. Okay, open up the marriage. I could try to sleep with other women too, at least.
Going straight to divorce or cheating. So that's the way we put it.
So can I just ask you, the first night you slept with another man?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Wonderful and terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're with someone for 18 years, and I've been a very monogamous person. I kind of called myself a good girl. Like that kind of type of girl who is always trying to get straight A's and please everyone. And so it was a lot of emotions the first time.
Over the course of the
Boredom, gone. Super excited. The guilt, man. Attractive. She can't believe she's actually doing this. You know how much excitement this sparked in this woman? She was never going to go back to a closed relationship. This was never going to be a one-time deal. Something they do temporarily to get rid of the boredom. Once she got a taste of this lifestyle, game over.
year, how many people did you sleep with?
12.
You see what I mean? I haven't seen this full clip, but Jesus, I'm like, this is like a book, dude. It's so easy to see coming. Every page.
Were they all men?
No.
Oh, bonus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had a year. I had to get my bucket list done.
So what, how many men?
10 men and 2 women.
10 men and 2 women. Okay, so.
Of those 2 women, there's probably like a 3-way going on too. She probably experienced a couple. She probably experienced multiple people at once. Again, she said, I had to get my bucket list done. She says she put a year on it. They did this for a year. Very curious about that one.
How is that?
But there was hardly anyone before that.
Right,
guys,
that was the whole point. Her
Yeah.
numbers were so low.
Yeah.
She wanted to live alone. How is the situation with because you're not a lesbian. You were kind of just trying it.
Right.
So how
well,
did that
I'll tell
go?
you, the first woman I slept with, I thought I might be a lesbian because I thought, oh my God, this is the problem. I'm a lesbian. They know exactly what to do.
That tells you the state of their sex life. When she said our sex life was great. What did I tell you guys in the very beginning? That's all she knew. It was terrible. And I've always said this in the videos before. When you get a woman with a high body count and you come in last with her, you're the last guy she's going to be with. You're living up to all the past experiences. Your chance of failing to live up to expectations shoot up dramatically. I'm telling you, this is something a lot of men don't want to talk about. I don't care just because she's got a high body count. It's only because she's a hoe and I can't trust if that's not my kid or not. Yes, dude, that's part of it. But it is an ego bruise for a man because of insecurity of how you're going to perform. Society, men in general talk about sexual prowess with a woman. How well you did it. And if she had 10 other dudes, you're going to compare yourself to like, oh shit, there's 9 other guys, 10 other guys I got to measure up to. And you're likely not going to measure up to Mr. Number 1. This is a problem with men. They don't want to admit it. Some men will say in the comments, I don't care about that. I just don't want a promiscuous woman that's been with the block. Yes, but underneath the promiscuity, underneath the insecurity there, why don't you want him? What do you think about? What's the emotions that make you feel disgusted at a promiscuous woman? Okay, there's insecurity tied to that, not just the fact that you might not know that kid is yours because she's likely to go sleep with other guys. It's not just a paternal security there. It's an insecurity on your sexual prowess.
But yeah, it's really good. But
So her husband was essentially so bad that one woman that knew what a clit was essentially blew her away. Can you imagine the vanilla life they had in the bedroom? It's mind-blowing. You have no idea how bad somebody's bedroom life could possibly be. This is why when people have affairs and stuff, they say things like that past video. They'll say things like, I've saved a marriage or 2. Because they got their kinks out and now they're ready to go back to the quiet boredom.
that wore off. I realized that, romantically, emotionally, sexually, like that's a whole thing.
Yes.
And I'm heterosexual.
Yeah, okay. When your husband and you got back together on the weekends,
Yeah.
how was that?
Well, we didn't get back together and process everything.
But you knew.
Of course, we knew. And I'll tell you, it was strange, but I also have to say, after 18 years of, monogamy, routine, domesticity, all the good things that can also become a little rote, knowing that another woman had been on a date with him that week.
Mm-hmm.
Got her turned on.
Kind of perked me up toward him a little, like, I better get my game on, And he did.
How many more videos I gotta make on how you keep your woman interested? And it's so simple. She just has to see you flirting with other women. And by the way, when I mean flirting, for all the people in the comments of that one last video that were like, you shouldn't flirt at all. Why would you ever do that? That's disrespectful. The point of flirting is that you don't actually have any intentions behind the flirt. It's just keeping your game sharp. It's allowing yourself to be able to have that tit for tat back and forth between the lines conversational skill that is required to keep yourself fresh in the relationship with your woman. Because it was like the Patrice video. Once they know what you're going to say, once they know what you're going to do, they get bored. You have to stay fresh, man. And staying fresh means lightly flirting with no intention behind it, but keeping your game up. Seeing how much you can make another woman smile, seeing how much you can go back and forth. Like your woman seeing that, seeing another woman interested in you, flirting back, laughing, and you do it in a nonchalant, non-disrespectful way. You're just talking. You have no intention to get a number, no trading information for a later date, nothing. Just a cordial, simple conversation while you're sitting down ordering lunch or something with your woman, or getting a drink at a bar, or in a social event, something's happening and you're introducing yourself to people, your woman's there, etc. Just her seeing women looking at you up and down, being interested, flipping their hair, doing the little body cues that shows interest from women will supercharge your woman's attraction to you. It just opens the door to that competitive nature women have. This isn't like rocket science, guys. It's just a skill that you have to keep sharp, and it's something society has suppressed. They try to make you the bad guy for trying to keep your game sharp, because women like to isolate men. They isolate you from your friends. I don't like your friends. I don't want you going out with them. Right? They isolate you from other women as much as can. Why'd you look at her? Oh, they even try to control your gaze. Like out in public, if you look at another woman, immediately you get slapped on the shoulder and like, what are you looking at? Blah, 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 blah. And they make an issue out of it. The whole point is for her to keep you to herself. And the only way she feels secure in doing that is to literally take your mouth and eyes away. If they could, they would. Don't let them do that.
And he did that too.
This is the way I feel when I see the other women looking at my husband playing tennis.
Exactly.
Like, those are the best nights for Doug. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What more needs to be said?
It got us, it kind of spiced things up a bit, at least at first.
And we're back now with Robin.
At least at first. Ooh.
Rinaldi, who tried an open marriage with her husband back in 2009. One of our audience members wants to know how you met these men.
Well, it was before Tinder and all that, but I put an ad on nerve.com, which was a dating site, and I laid it all out. I said what was happening, that I was married. And if you put an ad for men saying you're married and you can't get involved and you just want sexual experience, don't worry. They'll answer it.
It works out well.
Yeah. There's not a problem.
Okay, so, but ultimately there was a problem with your marriage. So you decide after the 12 months, you're going to get back together, you're going to try monogamy again, and then what?
We did that for several months. It was a real transition. It's like you've opened the box and then you're trying to jump back in the box, and the box isn't the same anymore. We were working through it.
My man's got a taste of strange, no strings attached. And here's the problem with men when they open up their relationship, they get emotionally attached, bro, because men bond a lot through sex also. It's not just women, but she was keeping, because men and women love differently. See, men equate like a woman really loving them when they give them sex, right? So she was just having really fun, casual flings with guys, but that emotional attachment she had to her husband could not be replicated easily in the casual hookup. But her husband was getting sex from other women, and that was causing a very strong emotional bond that he felt was missing from his own wife. Now, I've seen this happen before. I've had friends that have opened up marriages, and this is how it usually happens. Once the guy gets a taste, like he's not trying to close that anymore, and he starts to feel different about his wife and his situation. Now, I wonder if that's what she's going to explain here.
My husband had a girlfriend at the time.
There it is.
He kind of got involved.
You see what I mean? It went from we're just having casual fun for a year to the dude immediately fell for another woman. She literally took her man away because women hate losing the emotional advantage they have, the emotional connection of their man. If a guy comes home and he says, hey, I cheated, it was some dumb broad, I don't even remember her name, it was just a physical fling, they're more likely to forgive that than your little office girlfriend that you come home and talk about, like, office, my little Stacy work wife, she's so amazing, she listens to me all the time, I tell her my problem, we're going out for a coffee date, blah, blah. That's far more threatening to women than the physical act itself. I'm telling you, the moment she feels like she's losing everything once that woman got to that man's brain, his emotional connection, because men are men. She's going to say, yeah, they're dogs, they sleep around, whatever, as long as I control his mind.
Which was against the rules. You're not supposed to form an emotional attachment.
Yes,
See?
but I broke rules too, just so we get that clear. But, that was kind of being processed out, and, she kind of took that okay. And then a man that I had met and really kind of fell for, and we cut it right off because of that, got back in touch with me several months later. And I ended up leaving my husband for him, much to my guilt to this day, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, your husband consented to this.
Yes, he did. And he's with someone now, and I think they're actually very well suited for each other. We're friends, and it's all worked out. But
She regrets it.
I still feel that
She lost. She lost, bro. Listen, and this is how she lost, because the man she left her husband for is not going to provide everything else the husband used to provide. The love, the support, the emotional connection. Like, this is what women don't understand, and you have to make them understand. Sleeping with another guy is easy for a woman. Like she said, you just put out an ad saying you're married and you're just looking for casual flings, men will line up. What those men can't provide is all those other things beyond sex that your husband is providing. She has to go look for that. She has to spend years, decades forming that emotional bond where a man will stick by her side, be the emotional support, provide her things, provide her a whole lifestyle, man. That's much harder for a woman. That takes time to build for a woman, to build that trust from her man so that he provides her with all his, a life partner. These guys are just giving her essentially just a dick. That's it. And they're not offering the emotional side. Or if they even are offering the emotional side, you think those bonds from like a 8-month fling can even match the strength of a 20-year marriage, even going through their problems? She knows that guy is never going to be bonded to her like her husband was when they met at 25 years old, when she was in her prime time. I'm telling you, and stuck by his side for 20 plus years. That man was willing to open up a marriage. That man was willing to do quite a bit and bend quite a bit for her. Now she's stuck with a guy she knows that doesn't have that deep emotional connection, will just walk out of her life at any moment's notice when he finds another younger version of her. It's crazy, dude. This did not end well for her at all. Meanwhile, her man, I'm sure he would have been cool with being with her. That was his first love. They got married, everything. But once he's seen the other side, game over. That dude's happy now. He says, well, we've opened up our marriage. I found somebody too. You ended up leaving me anyway. And we know how the story goes for women getting back on a carousel, bro. It's not fun at all. It ends in disaster.
I don't know. Maybe because, my biggest fear would have been to have been left. I still feel that it's just
Contributed
it hurts
to the
hurt
downfall.
someone that you love, but that is the way it turned out, and I'm still with that man to this day. And of course, I'm totally monogamous again.
You are?
Yes.
So you got a divorce. Did you remarry, or you're just together?
I'm not remarried. We're living together for a long time now and monogamous.
This is, it's so fascinating because we've been having discussions during the commercial breaks, and most of the audience is like, right? But there are a few who feel differently. Our experts are still here, Terry and Stephen. Is there any sort of a number on the percentage of open marriages that make it?
I don't know of any information on that. I know that about 3 or 4% of people in relationships in the U.S. and Canada report that they're in some sort of a consensually non-monogamous relationships that includes open relationships.
3 or 4%
polyamorous,
are
swinging.
in a consensual non-monogamous relationship.
Yes.
Can we just get a shot of the audience? I'd love to ask you, how many of you would be open-minded to trying one of these kinds of things? Go ahead.
I see
2 dudes. Two guys. Okay, yes, one woman. And how many of you would say, no way? Shouting it loud. Dr. Snyder, I mean, are they wrong? Have we been?
And this is, you see, most of the hands raised were women, of course, because they understand the value and the time it took to build that emotional connection with their man. They know what's at stake here when you open up a relationship. They know that the end game is going to be what happened to this woman.
Been sort of raised to believe something, that culturally is just the norm.
Monogamy is the dance we're all taught to do. And like everything else, probably part of this is biology, because we're wired for pair bonding. We're that kind of species. And culture amplifies it, and it celebrates it. So the reality is that people are different. There's some people who this really works for, and they're happily monogamous. And other people, they kind of know in the back of their mind that I could do differently.
It's funny, because I talked to my husband, Doug, about it, and he said, you can't love the Yankees and the Red Sox. Period.
Valid point at the end, too. It is true. For some people, monogamy works. For others, it doesn't. You have to have a real, conversation with yourself, look in the mirror and say, do you want to be married? Do you want to be committed to one person the rest of your life? And if it isn't, then stop beating yourself down trying to find the thing that doesn't really fulfill you, because you're going to be fighting those urges, those instincts that you may have to do other things, and it'll lead to a very sad life, man. You'll be depressed and you're going to end up hurting your partner, which could be somebody that's really good, but just not for you, because that's not what you're looking for. And likewise, if you're looking for the other lifestyle, just make sure your goals and demands align with what you're looking for and make them known. Speak up. Tell the people you meet. Don't be afraid to beat around the bush. Don't try to swallow it and live a life that you're not meant to live if that's how you feel deeply inside about it. Make your demands, make your needs known to your partner from the get-go, guys. I've been in both types of relationships. I know what it's like. I know if you just are upfront, brutally upfront about it, like mode one, go on the date and be like, listen, I'm the monogamous type. I don't need any other woman. I'm looking to build a family. I need someone with strong values, traditional values, just the same as me, because that's the lifestyle I'm looking for. If you, for whatever reason, don't feel that way, just let me know right now. I don't want to waste anybody's time. Likewise, you can say the same thing on the other end. Hey, I've been in relationships with a woman, and she had a girlfriend at the time too, or my woman liked to do threesomes, she was bi, etc. And that's the kind of lifestyle that I'm gravitating to now. It was the best relationship I've had. I think I'm a multiple woman kind of guy. I don't see myself settling down with just one person. I don't believe in monogamy, blah, 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 blah. If you're just upfront about that, you'd be surprised, because there are also women that have the same internal clock as you in regards to either monogamy or not. And they'll say, great, I feel the same way. I'd like to start a family. I'd like one man for the rest of my life. Other women go, I might like other women more, or I might like other men. I don't say you go down that route, but if you find yourself a woman that's bi and likes other women and likes to bring them in the relationship, good on you, brother. That can work. And it works very well when done correctly, and it's wanted by both people. Now, if one or the other forces that on their partner, and that's not originally what they wanted, this is when it can go south. But if you two met with the same mentality, made it clear, and you're okay with it, and say that third person you invite is just like another toy or a tool to add the spice to the variety of life, etc., then it'll go very well for you. But if you force someone in there, if you're having a midlife crisis, if you feel like you need something new and exciting, you're headed for disaster, just like this woman is. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We'll see you on the next one, boys. Take care. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all the good stuff. We're being targeted. Peace.